Okay, friends, wish you all a good evening. I hope you had a fruitful evening today with regard to increasing your knowledge on big data and analytics. So, building up on what the previous two speakers have been enlightening you about this evening, I would like to focus on one area, one application area, which would make great use out of big data analytics. So, this today I'm going to talk about automotive telematics. Basically, how we can use data analytics to gather data that is being generated all the time while we commute, while we go on trip. So every time people are moving from point A to point B. So we need some medium to do that. We use vehicles, cars. So when we are doing that, we we need to travel reliably, safely, and with a minimum hassle. So without much ado, I would like to continue. So what is basically telematics? So there has been the term telemetric for a long time. So telematics is something that has been built on top of that. So this is it's actually a definition by Gartner. It's about as you can see the framework which collects and transmits vehicle data, okay, vehicles data on different types of usage of the vehicle, and you can analyze that data to do preventive maintenance and servicing. So what I have underlined here beneath is some of the details that we can gather from the vehicles to analyze and provide a better insight on. So one of them would be the, of course, speed, engine RPM, location, direction of travel, fuel consumption, engine and powertrain health. Then, of course, on certain vehicles you can have what CCTV. Like for big prime movers, we would like to have somebody to monitor. I mean, everybody would like to have monitor with the way buses travel on roads these days. Everybody would like to have CCTV on all of them. So if you go to Facebook, you will see pages like Sri Lankan traffic violations, which feature a lot of videos from dash cams. So that is also kind of sort of a input data stream. It's not textual, but still it's kind of an input data stream which we would love the Sri Lanka traffic police also to see, right? So moving on, moving on with the theme of the evening, analytics and visualization has been all important. So fans of How I Met Your Mother would have seen Marshall describing to his friends a pie chart containing his favorite bars and a bar chart containing all his favorite pies, right? So visualization is important. When we talk about the smart car, connected car, the GSMA, the global body for mobile operators, they have been working on the connected car forum, which is part of the connected living program. So there have been a lot of initiatives in that area with collaborations from industry leaders like Microsoft and IBM. They have predicted that the global connected car market will be worth $39 billion in 2018, which I can remember it was something around 13 billion in 2012. So it is a threefold increase in 5 years. So apart from that, why do we call it a connected car? Because there are ways to get telemetry data from vehicles that is factory fitted or can be aftermarket. The graph here, I'm sure you can't see it. That is why I have included it. You would see that the number of connected cars with factory fitted smart connected telematics platforms would skyrocket by the next few years. One of the initiatives taken by Verizon, this was actually featured in MWC as well in Barcelona. Verizon is one of the key players in the market. In the US, they are building connected cars, smart cars, which have Hum is one of those platforms which help the consumer in the event of a failure or in an accident or in case of breakdown. This Hum platform will notify the manufacturer or at least a dealer of the car, because unlike in Sri Lanka, the context you have to understand as well. In those countries, they buy the car brand new from the dealership and they give you warranty for 3 years. So the warranty is extended to the owner in the case of a failure. Sri Lanka, unfortunately, it's not the case, but there you will see you would need incident alert, emergency assistance, and to do that, you would need the diagnostics as well. So you can't just call the dealer and say the car is not starting. How can he help you? He needs the data. So he needs to analyze the data that is coming in from the car to troubleshoot what is going on and tell the customer, okay, you press this, this and that, and perhaps the problem might go away. Perhaps you might at least be able to get home. So how do we use telematics in real life? I have focused on few areas which I at Mobitel, we have been working on these areas for gathering data. Analytics, we are working on it. So I like to add few other personal experiences as well. So, most obvious one would be location tracking. Right? You would like, so the owner of a prime mover fleet or fleet of trucks or vans or whatever would like to have details of where his vehicles have been. Right? Where his vehicles have been throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. Then based on that, he can optimize his business processes to move parts of his fleet in a more efficient way, thereby saving him costs. So that is where the analytics come into play. So all the technologies that we have talked in this evening is really important in gaining that insight, right? Gaining that insight from the data that is gathered from these endpoints. Another thing is what owners are mostly concerned about is the driver behavior, driving pattern. So in Sri Lanka also you see these kind of drivers. Based on the patterns of his driving, whether he's accelerating hard, braking hard, is he like, if you install it on a bus, I don't think it will be off the charts all the time. Okay, so the owner now can get an insight. Previously the owner didn't know how the driver is. He can go on any rough road, he can go any way he wants, over the pavement, under a hill, whatever. But now the owner will get to know what the driver has been up to. Then the driver will be, even if the system is not working, if the driver thinks that he is being tracked, he will still be careful. You have to at least attach something that looks unfamiliar, that looks strange. Then he will be afraid. Afraid of what? The theme of the evening, analytics. You get the data, analyze it, and he's in trouble. Geofencing is another thing that is important, but not really analytics as such. You can define areas where the vehicle can be, and once it goes out of the area, the owners will get an alert. You might call it some kind of real-time analytics, but it's not basically that. So next thing you would like, any owner would like to have is what? The fuel monitoring. So again, we're building on what the previous speakers have been talking about. You need money to research and invest on these kinds of technologies. How does the money come? How does the money come? Because there's a business case. So where does the business case come in this case? You can find out when people are drinking the petrol or diesel that is fed to your car. So not basically your car or van or truck or whatever. So there in my personal experience also, we have met customers who have vehicles, trucks, prime movers, with very sophisticated fuel tanks which have the capability to vaporize fuel. Fuel gets vanished. So they think it's a feature. So once we install systems to monitor the fuel levels, that feature suddenly vanishes. Sometimes the driver also vanishes. So that is again leveraging on the capabilities of analytics. And of course CCTV, not for basically for cars. Don't think in that context. Think in context where the vehicles are really large and worth a lot of money. So the owners would like to know if there is an accident, for example. But in cars also same thing is happening. Dash cams, as I told you earlier, help to gather a lot of video footage. So if an accident has happened, you will be able to prove that at least you are not at fault. Next big thing is predictive maintenance. So a happy engine will save you a lot of money and trouble as well. So how do you do predictive maintenance? As you would know, on any vehicle, there are several controllers which control different parts of the vehicle, different parts of the powertrain, different parts of the braking system, safety, SRS, airbags, ABS. So all these modules are talking with each other over a CAN bus using CAN bus protocol. So there are different protocols, I won't go into that detail. So if you can gather data from each of these modules, usually it's done through the onboard diagnostics board that is there in a vehicle, it's mandatory for vehicles manufactured after I think 2000. So you can get the data. Just getting the data will not work. As we discussed earlier, either you should analyze the data at the edge or it should be done at the cloud. So after analysis, you will get the insights of what is happening and what has happened. And based on that, you can do predictions, predictive analysis to predict whether a certain module, a certain part of the engine is going to give you some trouble in the future. So hopefully, it will help you to correct that problem before it gets out of hand. Roadside assistance is something that I explained with Verizon's example earlier as well. So if you meet with an accident, huge accident, and even in aircraft you see when an aircraft meets an accident, there's always a black box which records all the data which is useful for the investigators in later stages to find out why the aircraft crashed. Now, is that going to help a lot? I mean, help the people who died or got injured in the crash? No. But what will it help? It will help to identify the root cause of the problem and make sure that other aircraft are also safe. If there's a problem with certain part of the aircraft, the manufacturer will ground all those series of aircraft, and they will do the correction to make sure that it doesn't happen. So that same technology is now being available for cars as well. And again, for avoid these accidents as well if the analytics was in place. Another important thing that actually is being done in Sri Lanka as well, actually it's been initiated, is smart insurance. So usually you have to pay a something amount as the premium, and if you are lucky you won't get into accidents, you will get the no claim bonus and you can get away with a slight. No, ideally not. So from the point of view of the insurer, why are we paying the insurer? Because the insurer bears the risk of an accident on behalf of a vehicle, on behalf of you. So therefore we have to pay the insurance company. If your car is at home and if it's on a garage, unless a tsunami or something comes, hopefully your car will be okay. But do you have to pay the insurance company for keeping your car parked in the garage? That doesn't make sense, right? So the major obstacle which kept people from, so same thing applies for say on prepaid telephone, you pay the telephone company based on the number of seconds or minutes seconds or minutes that you spend on the phone. So if you can do the same for the insurance, where you pay the insurance company for the time that you are on the road, then you can greatly reduce your insurance premium. And the analytics would, the billing would be based on the data provided by the system. And to add icing on that, the analytics will help the insurance company to identify what sort of driver he is. And based on that, say if he is a very aggressive driver, perhaps the insurance company can, if he is not a very aggressive driver, perhaps the insurance company can give him a discount. And again, with the business case coming in, when there's a business case, there's always going to be a need. And I'll run through this. Smart traffic control. When you get data from cars on all over the road, not just from one vehicle, you have an insight, you have knowledge on how the vehicle is moving through the road, and you can use that to do traffic routing. How, if the road is very congested, you can change the timing of traffic lights to divert traffic on alternate paths. Sri Lanka might be difficult for the time because all the alternate paths are congested at the same time. But nevertheless, it can be possible. Then again, if there is maintenance, you can divert traffic. You can inform the drivers in advance. How? Through the connected car. Not necessarily analytics, but the connected car will tell you, okay, there's an obstruction in the road 2 kilometers down. Choose an alternate route, or you will be delayed. Again, Sri Lanka, if you have gone through Marine Drive somewhere recently, you will know. If this happens, you will never be able to go because always half of the road is under construction. Another important part of telematics is the analytics of the data that you gather from telematics is to optimize your driving pattern. So again, I'm sure you can't see this, but this I would have loved you all to see. This shows how the fuel gas mileage, the fuel consumption varies with the speed for a Toyota Prius, a Honda Civic, and a BMW 320. And a Subaru Outback. So Subaru, obviously you can't expect good fuel mileage, but Prius actually tops the chart. How do you? What is the importance? If you know this, you can change your driving pattern to increase your fuel mileage. Unless you're driving race, if you're a race car driver, when you keep on driving, say on the same route for the long time, you would like to have good gas mileage, even if you are kind of sort of slow. So you can, if you can have a way to analyze this, this is a very simple interpretation. Manufacturers would also like to have this. How is their vehicle performing on these roads? Based on those analytics, they can provide software updates as well, especially for electric cars, EVs. Nissan is very ahead. Tesla is also doing the same. So with their carvings platform, they are getting telematics data from the car to their platform, and they are processing it. And those insights are used to come up with the next software update. So the next software update will feature the insights that are gathered from all the data from the sensors of the car. But to increase your range, because when you take a Leaf, it's all about efficiency. It's not about racing, it's about efficiency. So they try their level best to keep the efficiency at high. And even the car, this is a classic case of edge analytics as well. So the car is doing edge analytics also, not on the carvings platform, but the edge analytics as well. How? This says turn off climate control for additional 9 miles of range. How does the car know that? The car knows from previous experience that this guy is driving like a maniac, and if he turns off the climate control, maybe I can gather 9 miles. So this is nothing hard-coded by the factory. This is based on data analytics done at the edge, at the car's computer. So with the time running out, this again is a graph of an actual trip of one of my friends, Nissan Leaf, which you can log with the mobile app, and you can upload it to a website called Leaf Logger, and you can see how the battery drained over time, how the temperatures of the battery pack, of different sensors of the battery pack. There are 4 sensors that have been featured here, different parts of the battery pack, how they have increased over time. This guy has traveled from Colombo to Kurunagala, so there can be hilly areas. So you can see there are spikes in the battery temperature during sudden accelerations. So all this data now can be analyzed at the carving side or at the edge car's end to tell you the prediction that I showed you earlier. So that is how analytics helps you in real life for vehicle applications. So I would like to conclude my presentation with that. There's a small question. What are the name 3 parameters that would be important to as telemetry data for analysis of the for analytical purposes? 3 parameters that you would like to get from the car. Was there on the first line? Come on. I will decrease it to 2 if nobody replies. And if the time is okay with me standing here until somebody comes up with 3 parameters. Tell them.
Vehicle speed,
Yes.
RPM, etc.
Yes.
And
One more.
battery voltage, it is electric battery.
Yes, yeah, man. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed at least, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Wish you all a pleasant evening.